Assalamualaikum W.B.T to Dr. Hamzah and to my fellow classmates. So I am the representative of Group 3 and the topic that has been given to us is cloning and DNA sequencing of human origin related cases. Okay, so in this video there will be two topics, cloning and also DNA sequencing, and I will explain to you about the benefits, the ethical issues and the arguments that can actually prove that cloning and DNA sequencing are actually safe and ethical. Cloning is considered as a scientific breakthrough when doll leadership was worldwide introduced in 1997, and it actually revolutionizes different fields such as science, medicine, and also in the industrial field. The first benefit of cloning is that it actually can resolve infertility issues among couples. So those who cannot have baby, now they can have babies that is biologically related to them and have their genetic. However, the issue here is that since the baby is cloned, there will be a psychological stress and discrimination towards the baby in the future life later. The only solution to this problem is that society must accept the baby as who he or she is. We must accept it as another human being because it is a God creation too. If God did not grant soul into the baby wouldn't even survive. The second benefit of human cloning is that it can provide identical organs to those who suffer from organ failure. Even though organ transplantation has become a life-saving procedure for many diseases, there is no guarantee that the newly donated organs can be accepted into the new body. With the use of cloned organs, the body can accept it because it has the same genetic configurations as it comes from their own cells too. However, the ethical concern about this is that it is actually considered inhuman or unethical to take embryonic stem cells from a growing embryo. This is because the embryo is considered as a human too. The solution to this issue is that the ends justify the means. That means that the possibility of producing cells to treat the diseases of millions justifies the sacrifices of millions of young human embryos. The next benefit of cloning is that cloning can actually cut the production budget of producing a certain vaccine. Previously, a lot of equipment was required and the experiment need to be redo over and over again in order to produce a certain vaccine. With the use of cloning, the vaccines can be cloned and replicated by inserting the genetic materials into bacteria, and this bacteria can further be cloned. Thus, more vaccines are produced. However, there are still some people discriminate against the idea of using human stem cells because they thought that the cloned human stem cells might be harmed during the testimonial process. The solution to this issue is that the consents are already given, is that there are already consents between the researcher and the donor. And the use of stem cells are actually permissible and ethical if the donors allow it. In addition, there are also some issues discriminating against cloning in organ transplantation, in which people keep questioning the ethical concerns regarding the use of stem cells from dead body. And to answer this issue, this action is actually ethical if it is followed with a few considerations, like the donor's approval before death, the surgery to honor the donor's wishes, and also the confidentiality of the donor's information. We're going to talk about DNA sequencing. DNA sequencing is the process of determining the order of A, D, C, and G bases, which are the unit of DNA. It is no longer limited in serving the purposes of clinical research, but also in other fields such as forensic sciences. The first benefit of DNA sequencing is the use of whole genome sequencing in prenatal diagnosis. Through this diagnosis, the genetic variants that can cause genetic disorders in the baby can be detected earlier, even before the baby is born. The concern about this issue is that the psychological impact that the parents might have anxiety due to the unexpected or undesired obtained results. However, there are solutions to this issue. In 2003, UNESCO or some other countries like Italy have made it compulsory for these participants to go through pre and post counseling tests, And during this counseling session, they will be informed about the concerns, about the methodology, about the complications, and the degree of the uncertainty of the test. And thus, they will have the right amount of time to be prepared to raise the baby later. They will have the right knowledge about it. The application of DNA sequencing is necessary to detect any genes that can cause cancer or any other factors that can induce the tumorigenesis. However, this kind of research might take some time or even years after research has begun. And there is a concern about this because it seems like it is unethical for the researcher to give back the results because the participants have already lived their life to the fullest without knowing that they might have the disease future later in life. But there is a solution to this. In some countries, like Denmark, if the participants wish to not know about the potential disease, it is to be respected. And in France, if they don't want to know about the results, the information will be given to the closest family members and not to the participants. So it is actually all up to the participants' preferences. Another contribution of DNA sequencing in the forensics field is applied to find missing persons that were caused by kidnapping, homicide, wars, or even mass disasters. The DNA samples of the missing person will be collected and compared to the reference samples of DNA. And in this case, DNA sequencing has made DNA identification much more easier, convenient, and efficient. The ethical issue regarding to this matter is the incidental findings or the findings of the family secret or the hurtful truth. And to solve this issue, policy is established to ensure that the family members are autonomy or have control on their consent and know about the risk, the benefits of DNA identification. In conclusion, DNA sequencing or cloning are the current biotechnologies that are proven to be safe and also serve as beneficial tools for humans in so many aspects. The ethical issues arise should not stop the full utilization of these technologies, as the only chance to examine and reduce the risk is possible when the utilization is carefully done with an open-minded thinking. And lastly, the innovation of these technologies must be strived to fight the fear of the unverified risk. And lastly, thank you.